Hello everyone, how are you all? We all are going through some really bad situation due to COVID-19 or coronavirus. Lots of us is spending our home time doing different types of creative works, where painting holds one of the leading position. Today I'll try to enlighten you all with a little bit of knowledge, especially those who don't know about the most famous paintings. Every year billions of dollars worth of art passes through international auction houses, while leading museums each hold tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of artworks in their collections. But precious few ever achieve the fame required to truly be considered household names. As famous is a subjective term, compare dozens of popular masterpieces from classics such as Mona Lisa, The Great Wave of Kanagawa, and the Salvador Mundi to more modern works like Nighthawks and even the Dogs Playing Poker series. Based on those results, these are the top 10 most famous paintings in the world. Number 10. Creation of Adam. Artist Michelangelo. Date 1508 to 1512. You can see it in Sistine Chapel, which is in Vatican City. The most famous work by renowned artist Michelangelo covers a section of the Sistine Chapel ceiling. You have to look up to view it. The scene depicts God and Adam with outstretched arms, their fingers nearly touching. It is one of the most replicated images in history. Adam's muscular form hints at Michelangelo's other talent. His David is possibly the world's most famous sculpture. You can see the towering marble statue at the Galleria dell'Accademia in Florence. Did you know? The ceiling of the Sistine Chapel had been dulled by centuries of exposure to candle smoke, among much else. After a long, extensive cleaning that ended in 1989, people were shocked to see the bright, vibrant colors Michelangelo originally used. Number 9. Las Meninas. Artist Diego Velazquez. Date 1656. You can see it in Museo del Prado, which is in Madrid. Madrid is the only city in the roundup where you will find two of the most 10 famous paintings, the first being Guernica at number 5 and Las Meninas here at number 9. Housed at the popular and first Prado, Las Meninas is not only Diego Velazquez's most famous painting, it's also one of his largest. The complexity of the work has fascinated art critics and the public for centuries. The painting does double duty as a portrait. It serves as a group portrait of Spanish royalty, but it's also a self-portrait of Velazquez himself at work on the left. Did you know? Las Meninas was commissioned by King Philip IV of Spain, who ruled from 1621 to 1665. It stayed in the royal place until 1819. When it went to the Prado. Number 8. The Birth of Venus. Artist Sandro Botticelli. Estimated date 1485. You can see it in La Galleria degli Uffizi, which is in Florence, Italy. The oldest painting in the top 10 and competing with the case for most sensuous, The Birth of Venus was probably commissioned by a member of the wealthy and art-loving Medici family, which ruled Florence and nearby areas for centuries. Marrying a renewed interest in classic Greek culture with early Renaissance style, Botticelli creates an unforgettable figure with the goddess of love emerging from a huge scallop shell. Did you know? Botticelli's Venus features two significant departures from most other works of his contemporaries. First, he painted on canvas instead of the more popular wood. Secondly, nudity was rare at this time, so it was daring that Venus is completely exposed minus her long, flowing hair and a hand barely covering her most intimate body parts. Number 7. Girl with a Pearl Earring. Artist Johannes Vermeer. Estimated date 1665. You can see it in Maurits, Swiss, The Hague, Netherlands. This intriguing favorite often gets compared with the Mona Lisa. Besides the stylistic differences, technically Girl with a Pearl Earring isn't even a portrait, but a Tawny, a Dutch word for a painting of an imaginary figure with exaggerated features. The oil on canvas masterpiece is brilliant in its simplicity. The girl wearing a blue and gold turban and an oversized pearl earring is the entire focus with only a dark backdrop behind her. Did you know? While the Mauritius underwent a renovation from 2012 to 2014, Girl with a Pearl Earring went on tour in the United States, Italy and Japan. It drew huge crowds, further bolstering its status as one of the world's most famous works of art. Number 6. The Kiss. Artist Gustav KLIMT. Estimated date 1907 to 1908. You can see it in Upper Belvedere Museum, which is in Vienna, Austria. With number 6, we moved from a study in hate to a study in love with Gustav KLIMT's beloved The Kiss. From KLIMT's golden period, Byzantine artistic influences can be seen in the highly decorative robes worn by the passionate, life-sized couple. The Upper Belvedere says that with The Kiss, KLIMT makes a general allegorical statement about love being at the heart of human existence. Given its magnetic appeal, it seems people agree. Did you know? While The Kiss isn't for sale, other works by KLIMT are bought and sold for huge sums. Oprah Winfrey uploaded the 1907 artwork portrait of Adele Bloch brought to for $150 million in 2016 for a cool $60 million profit. Number 5. Guernica. Artist Pablo Picasso. Date 1937. You can see it in the Museo Reina Sofia in Madrid. This is the most recent painting on this list, and it depicts the German aerial bombing on the town of Guernica in the Basque region during the Spanish Civil War. The painting has that distinctive Picasso style, and its unflinching examination of the horrors of war made it an essential part of 20th century culture and history. Did you know? Guernica was moved to the Metropolitan Museum of Modern Art in New York during World War II for safekeeping. Picasso requested that the stay be extended until democracy returned to Spain. It finally went back to Madrid in 1981, 6 years after the death of longtime Spanish dictator General Francisco Franco. Number 4. The Scream. Artist EDVARD Munch. Date 1893. You can see it in the National Museum, which is in Oslo, Norway. First thing first, The Scream is not a single work of art. According to a British Museum's blog, there are 2 paintings, 2 pastels and then an unspecified number of prints. The paintings reside in the National Museum and the Munch Museum. And in 2012, one of the pastels sold for almost $120 million at auction. Much like the case of Mona Lisa daring thefts 1994 and 2004 of the 2 paintings versions of The Scream helped elevate the public's awareness of the artworks. Both were eventually found. Did you know? The androgynous figure in the forefront of the Art Nouveau style painting isn't producing the scream, but rather is trying to block out a piercing shriek coming from nature. It was inspired by an actual experience Munch had while taking in a sunset stroll in Oslo when a dramatic red hue overwhelmed his scenes. Number 3. The Starry Night. Artist Vincent van Gogh. Date 1889. You can see it in the Museum of Modern Art, which is in New York City. The comparatively abstract painting is the signature example of Van Gogh's innovative and bold use of thick brushstrokes. The painting's striking blues and yellows and the dreamy, swirling atmosphere have intrigued art lovers for decades. Did you know? Van Gogh was living in an asylum in Saint-Remy, France, being treated for mental illness when he painted The Starry Night. He was inspired by the view from the window of his room. Number 2. The Last Supper. Artist Leonardo da Vinci. Estimated date 1495 to 1498. You can see it in Santa Maria delle Grazie, which is in Milan, Italy. Leonardo, the original Renaissance man, is the only artist to appear on this list twice. Painted in an era when religious imagery was still a dominant artistic theme. The Last Supper depicts the last time Jesus broke bread with his disciples before his crucifixion. The painting is actually a huge fresco, 4.6 meter, which is actually 15 feet high, and 8.8 meter, which is actually 28.9 feet wide, which makes for a memorable viewing. Did you know? The fresco has survived 2 wartime threats. Napoleon's troops used the wall of the refectory on which the fresco was painted as target practice. It also was exposed to the air for several years when bombing during World War II destroyed the roof of the Dominican convent of Santa Maria delle Grazie in Milan. Here comes the number 1 position in our list. Mona Lisa, artist Leonardo da Vinci, estimated date 1503 to 1519. You can see it in the Louvre Museum, which is in Paris. It should come as no surprise that the most famous painting in the world is that mysterious woman with the enigmatic smile. But that's one of the few certainties about this work of art. The sitter in the painting is thought to be Lisa Gherardini, the wife of Florence merchant Francesco del Giocondo, but experts aren't sure. It did represents an innovation in art. The painting is the earliest known Italian portrait to focus so closely on the sitter in a half-length portrait, according to the Louvre, where it was first installed in 1804. Did you know? Before the 20th century, historians say the Mona Lisa was little known outside art circles. But in 1911, an ex-Louvre employee pilfered the portrait and hid it for 2 years. The theft helped cement the painting's place in popular culture ever since and exposed millions of Renaissance art. Some honorable mentions. 5 more paintings that came close. Here are 5 more famous paintings that came close to breaking into the top 10 list. American Gothic by Grant Wood, which is in Art Institute of Chicago. Water Lilies series by Claude Monet, various museums around the world. The Persistence of Memory by Salvador Dali, which is in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. The Night Watch by Rembrandt, which is in Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. The Garden of Earthly Delights by Hieronymus Bosch, which is in Museo del Prado in Madrid. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.